evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, Senator representing Kogi West, Dino Melaye, hospitalized after jumping out of a police van while being conveyed to Lokoja for trial, unfinished journey to Lokoja. Senator representing, lawmakers in the House of Representatives described as unconstitutional and impeachable purchase of $496 million military aircraft by the executive without legislative approval. Gunmen invade Catholic Church in Benue State, kill at least 19 worshippers, including 2 priests. President Buhari says attack is vile and satanic. And U.S. President Donald Trump threatens big problems if Iran resumes its nuclear program after 2015 international agreement.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's Investors and Exporters Foreign Exchange window marks 1-year anniversary as analysts issue warnings on forex stability.
On sports news tonight, Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr says his team isn't fully ready for the World Cup, barely 51 days to the biggest football showpiece.
And from Abuja, court remands former governor of Katsina State Ibrahim Shema in EFCC custody over alleged 5.7 billion naira fraud.
We begin tonight with the unfolding drama involving the senator representing Kogi West, Dino Melaye, and the Nigeria police. Senator Melaye has been taken to a hospital in the Abuja area after he reportedly jumped out of a police vehicle, conveying him to Lokoja, the Kogi state capital. Earlier today, the lawmaker had surrendered to operatives of the Inspector General of Police Monitoring Unit in Abuja, after which he was interrogated over his alleged involvement in the supply of arms to some political thugs arrested in Kogi State in January. The lawmaker had refused to honor the invitation of the police for questioning over his alleged involvement in that incident, claiming he did not feel safe in Lokoja. Senator Melaye was detained and subsequently released at the international wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport yesterday by the Nigerian Immigration Service. The lawmaker had also raised an alarm on social media on how the police had laid siege to his home in Abuja yesterday, claiming an attempt on his life, but vowing not to stop speaking what he says is the truth. Meanwhile, the police force is accusing Senator Melaye of escape from lawful custody. In a statement, the police explains that the senator escaped while being taken for arraignment in the Federal High Court, Lokoja, from Abuja. He says hoodlums and miscreants in 2 Toyota Hilux vehicles blocked the police vehicle, conveying Senator Melaye around Area 1 roundabout, Abuja. And in the process, the senator jumped out of the vehicle through the window and escaped. He adds that the police team reinforced and trailed him to a hospital in Abuja, where he was rearrested. Meanwhile, the Deputy Force Public Relations Officer, Aremu Adenirong, has been speaking on the events, leading to the surrendering of Senator Melaye to security operatives, having been on its wanted list since March 2018.
The police obtained a warrant of arrest and trailed him to his house at Maitama, Abuja, and cordoned off the place. Police exercised restraints from undue provocation from some internally displaced persons mobilized by the senator, mostly youths, pregnant women and children. They barricaded road leading to his house with wood and heavy stones and restricted access. He, however, surrendered himself to the police this morning, 24th of April 2018, for investigation on the allegations against him. The Nigerian police force will continue to sustain the rule of law and maintaining law and order throughout the country.
In the meantime, the lawyer representing the embattled senator, Mr. Mike Ozekome, is accusing the Nigeria police force of abducting his client with the aim of forcefully arraigning him at a federal high court in Lokoja, the Kogi state capital. Mr. Ozekome told Channels Television that the attempt to take Senator Melaye to Lokoja is an affront on democracy and the rule of law. He explains that the police told his clients that he was to be arraigned in a court in Abuja, only for them to head towards Lokoja.
Today is a sad reminder of Hitler's Gestapo strategies of attempting to annihilate all opponents. And Nigerians have to wake up to the reality of the perilous times that we are now going through, and more perilous times ahead in the weeks, months, in the days, in the weeks, in the months ahead because of 2019 election. Dino had also complained that the valiant attempt to make sure he's tried in Lokoja is for them to have an opportunity of sending him to jail at all costs, first to be detained at the cell where Dino told me as his lawyer he feared that they would inject him or poison his food so that he would die instrumentally, if not suddenly. So because of that, he said he would not go to Lokoja for trial.
Now, some members of the House of Representatives have described the payment of the executive of over $400 million for 12 Tucano fighter aircraft without the approval of the National Assembly as unconstitutional and impeachable. The lawmakers made their views known after a letter from the presidency explaining the reason for spending the funds was read on the floor of the House. Although debate on the matter has been slated for a yet-to-be-announced date, the lawmakers insist the president's letter is evidence of acceptance of constitutional breach. Our correspondent, Terry Ikumi, reports.
Please sit properly.
Lawmakers in the House of Representatives reconvened after a break for a closed-door meeting that lasted over 2 hours. The Speaker reads a letter from the President on his approval of $496 million for the purchase of Tucano attack aircraft from the United States of America.
In the expectation that the National Assembly would have no objection to the purchase of these highly specialized aircraft, which is critical to national security, granted anticipatory approval for the release of $496,374,470 US.
This is only a singular case.
A point of order describing the action of the President as impeachable is immediately raised and receives strong support from other lawmakers.
A constitutional infraction as serious as expenditure without the National Assembly clearly runs foul of this Constitution and is an impeachable offense.
What is wrong is wrong. You cannot approbate and reprobate. If it is wrong for members of this parliament to have an input in the legislative process of spending money, then it is our legislative duties to do so. Other than that, I join my voice with my other colleagues here that have moved the motion for an impeachable offense, and I so second.
Then the chairman of Rules on Business raises another point of order.
A letter of this nature constitutes first reading. It is first reading. I mean, solid arguments from Honorable Chinda, but it's like putting the cart before the horse. The truth of the matter is that second reading will have the opportunity to strike this down.
Order, please.
The point of order is the lawmakers are divided on whether or not to debate the matter right away.
He brought a letter here today that he withdrew $452 million Nigerian money without approval of Parliament, and somebody is quoting our order. Which order?
The best thing we should do now is that, having said whatever we have said, keep our gunpowder dry and be ready when this matter will be properly slated before us.
So we have a procedure. All we can do is to list it, and then all the issues we have raised can be raised, and then the House will come to a decision on this matter. So So we select it for debate.
The lawmakers accused the president of undermining the powers of parliament and promised not to be bipartisan in defending the rights and privileges of the National Assembly. They described the letter as an afterthought, as the expenditure had already been made.
Mr. Speaker, right?
Meanwhile, the National Assembly has launched a probe into the circumstances that led to the invasion of the National Assembly by unknown persons who snatched the mace of the Senate last week. A committee to investigate the incident has been set up by the Senate President, Bukola Saraki. The Senate has also directed its Committee on Security to devise new ways of strengthening security at the National Assembly.
Nearly 1 week after thugs invaded the National Assembly, the Senate is setting up a joint committee with the House of Representatives to investigate the factors that led to the invasion of the National Assembly. The invasion of the Senate chamber by thugs on April 18th shocked many Nigerians as it occurred in the full glare of security officials at the National Assembly.
We also resolved the constitution of a joint committee of the Senate and the House of Rep to investigate the incidents of the 18th of April, to look at the factors leading to it, and also make recommendations to ensure such does never happen again in any of the two chambers.
The matter is still receiving the attention of the House of Representatives. In a point of order moved by the Chief Whip of the House, Ado Al-Hassan, he urged the House to set up a joint committee with the Senate to investigate the matter.
Mr. Speaker, to move a super motion that this House sets a joint investigative committee along with our sister chamber, the Senate.
A lawmaker questions the action of the judiciary in granting an injunction restraining security agencies from arresting the embattled Senator Ovie Omagege over the matter.
There was an order of court restraining the police from arresting this same president. Somebody who should have been detained by the police. Somebody under the court, Mr. Speaker. I think unless we are not being fair to ourselves, the judiciary will be the first institution to truncate this democracy.
The motion was amended and put to vote by the Speaker.
By the Constitution, by Section 59, we can only have one joint committee. That's the Joint Committee on Finance.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.
The National Assembly has vowed to ensure that the culprits are brought to book to prevent a reoccurrence. Linda Akibi, Channels Television News.
In part two after the break, more on the bloodletting in Benue State. We have a retired military officer, Major General Cecil Esekaibe, to examine the issue. Stay with us.